All right. A lot of podcasting this week. I think I'm developing an addiction to podcasting, which could possibly be quite destructive, more destructive perhaps than any other addiction, I think. Because I have this fear that people keep dumping things into the internet, and there's going to come a point where something's got to break. Something's going to spill over. There's going to be a machine in a room that just falls over and it causes a fire, and 9 million people are going to die because of it. And it's just because of all this worthless garbage that we're spewing that I would like you to continue to listen to. So there you go. But here's my fear with podcasting in general. My fear with podcasting in general is that, I just realized I should probably check the mail, which is going to be weird because I started this podcast and I don't want to start over. So there might just be a period of time where I'm going to just run in really quickly and check the mail without saying anything, because I have a P.O. box. So it's going to be just awkward. There might be an awkward pause coming up shortly in the podcast, but that doesn't mean, it theoretically should mean that I'm fine. Unless something happens that I'm not anticipating and I'm not fine in the awkward pause, and then that might be the end of it. However, this is a pre-recorded podcast, so there's really nothing you can do about it other than note what happened for your records, provided this podcast is recovered and played out. Assuming I wasn't the phone that I'm using to record this on isn't too badly burned, and whatever catastrophe will happen, and that catastrophe will be caused by too much information on the internet, including this podcast. This podcast could be, in and of itself, the cause of my destruction. Although it wouldn't make literal sense based on the premise that I've created, because I haven't actually uploaded it to the internet yet. But I don't know how interconnected things are, so that's where we're at with that. So in a moment here, I'm going to be I could just press stop and re-record it, but there's something I like the idea of not. I like the idea of really letting you get a glimpse into how exciting my life is, which I think is, again, a further waste of everyone's time. But there's something I like about that. Okay, so hang on a second. Everyone just be quiet for a second. All right. Okay, I did it. Hope you're still with me. That was intense. Very intense. Now here's the question. Could I have just continued to talk? Because it would have just looked like I was on the phone, which is a rude thing. And, but I am... Could I have just talked? That's the question. And I'm looking at, I'm expecting medical bills from my procedure. That could be something we could discuss. I had a cystoscopy. All right, let's see what the damage is. Okay, what is this charge for? Let's see. So it looks like this is... I think they're charging me for having to deal with Blue Cross. Maybe? Oh, no. EST. Dipstick tablet. They charge for that. Creatine ortho something. U.S. Scrotum. $238. Oh, the ultrasound. Oh, they're charging me for my scrotum ultrasound. The charge is $238. That's how much it costs to scan my scrotum. To scan the scrotes. Okay, that's fun. Great. Well, that's lovely. Oh, and then there's another one here. Okay, wait. Boy, there's a lot going on here. Oh, I see. Okay, and what's this one? Post-voiding residual urine and bladder cap. Are they charging me to pee? I think they're charging me to pee there. Okay, that's good. Anal sphincter. Now, I do not remember that. Cystometro. Okay. I gotcha. So, yeah, okay, good. I don't know what that anal thing is. I mean, they put me under, so I don't remember anything. Maybe they had more fun in there than I realized they did. But that's the medical profession. I'm pretty sure I was charged to pee. I thought I could do that for free, but I don't understand. And I think they did charge me to have to talk to Blue Cross. And you know what? That's the one charge. I'll go ahead and say that's the fair one, because that probably can't be a pleasant conversation. I mean, two adults on the phone talking about my scrotum. Nobody got out of bed in the morning and said, that's what I want to do when I grow up. Nobody did that. So now what I have to do, this is totally going to pot on my podcast plans. I was prepared. I had topics prepared, believe it or not. Well, 2 topics prepared. But now my thinking is I don't want to drive around with the bills in the car, so I've got to go back to my place, drop off the bills there. I don't know what my biggest fear is, that someone will break in and pay the bills, or break in and see that I've had my scrotum scanned. That's what happens in the world. It's nice that you know this now, that people do charge for scrotal scans. That is a thing that happens. $238 for a scrotum. I think, can I put that on my Tinder profile? His scrotum is worth $238. What you have here is a $238 scrotum, madam. Dear, honey. Listen to me, honey. This ain't one of those $50 scrotums you get, at the Radio Shack on a Thursday. This is a $238 scrotum. And that's the title of the podcast. Okay, good. What I was going to try to get to before I was rudely interrupted by Blue Cross was that my fear with podcasting in general is that I'm doing this alone. There's not somebody else with me. There's not an audience. In many ways there's not an audience. And there's not even another person. And the useful thing about an audience or another person is that it's some other energy of some kind, or an entity or a group of people who can say, hey, you're wasting everyone's time. And that's not happening. So, there's no quality control going on right now. Everything I'm doing, putting this on the internet, this could be the biggest mistake of my life and perhaps even my parents' lives. That's how big this could be. Because does the internet need to know that it costs $238 to scan my scrotum? I'm not sure. I wonder if there was a debate between the doctor's office and Blue Cross over how much they should charge. With the doctor's office saying, listen, as scrotums go, this wasn't pleasant. I think we should charge him $1,000. And maybe it was Blue Cross who said, well, that's a bit high. I somehow think it was the other way around. Listen, this is this is a tiny scrotum. We really, you don't even need to charge him for this, really. We even just kind of looked at it and went, yeah, you're fine. And it was Blue Cross who said, no, we gotta charge something. We gotta do, we gotta do something on this. We can't just, what would we be if we just let this go? That's not an insurance company. What do we look like? What do we look like, Mother Teresa? That should be a medical insurance company's slogan. What do we look like, Mother Teresa? Insurance. I don't know, maybe now I'm beginning to feel guilty. That could be the title of this podcast. Now I'm beginning to feel guilty. Now I'm beginning to feel guilty. And I'm noticing as I'm walking around, I'm not in the safety of the car. I'm lowering my voice because I don't want, that's how much shame I'm feeling in podcasting. That is how much shame. Like if I were talking on the phone right now, my voice would be louder. But the fact that I'm back in the car. See, now my voice is relaxed. Okay, now I can podcast with impunity. Is that the right word, impunity? I think it is. Or is it immunity? I can podcast with comment on the thing below the thing. I don't know. That's the other thing I'm not very good at doing. I just interacting with the two people who are listening to the podcast. So this is taking a wild turn. I'm still, my brain is still stuck on $238 scrotum charge. And the fact that I think I was charged to pee. I don't know how to deal with that. It's Saturday, and what that means is I go to Romancing the Bean, and I have their cookie. That was literally the first thought that came through my head. Oh, Saturday, cookie day. I could go there really every day of the week if I wanted to, but for some reason, I only go on the weekends. And this is the thing I have to look forward to because I'm 37 and my scrotum's getting scanned. I need to stop using the word scrotum. I think again, this is what happens when there's no audience and there's not someone to go, listen, you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't talk about this. I have been speaking, it's unfortunate, but speaking of all this testicular stuff, I was experiencing some testicular pain last night that was keeping me awake. And I don't know what that is. I was just told everything looks okay down there, but this feels more, the urethra's fine. Now it's it's one of the testes. And the other thing, too, I need to stop doing is I'm telling everybody I know that I have these problems. And then a month later, they're saying, oh, hey, how's that, how you doing with that? And I feel that I probably shouldn't be putting that in people's minds. But on the other hand, I gotta say, now that I'm thinking about it, people remember. So maybe this is the branding I've been looking for. I'm the comedian with minor testicular problems. Is that a thing? There's a t-shirt. $238 scrotum t-shirt. Boom. I think someone's got some merch. The colleges will be begging and screaming for me. Okay. I'm looking at a park bench, and it says, discover the unsearchable, discover the forest. Well, if it's unsearchable, how can you discover it? And I wonder how much was destroyed to make the sign. Well, maybe the sign was made with recycled materials. But even if it's recycled materials, at one point it was probably a tree. So part of the forest had to die to let us know that we should explore the forest. I don't think we should explore the forest. I think we should leave the forest alone. I think we've explored enough of everything. We're exploring the depths of the ocean that no man has ever been, no human being, I shouldn't say no man, no human being, non-binary, non-gender specific, no human creature has ever gone to the bottom of the ocean. Let's keep it that way. Let's keep it that way. Whatever's at the bottom of the ocean doesn't need us down there. Trust me. No one is at the bottom of the ocean going, you know what, I think my environment is too perfect. It'd be great if someone could come along and put a Starbucks down here. Let's just get out of all that stuff. Let's just stay exactly where we're at and go, okay, this is the part of the earth that we've ruined. Let's just stay in Los Angeles. That should be the sign for the forests. Yellowstone National Forest. Stay in Los Angeles. Stay out. Go away. Leave the bears alone, for God's sake. Go scan your scrotum. The Forest Service. This message brought to you by the Forest Service. Now, okay, the two other things we can discuss. I'm seeing all these people riding around with these scooters. I've mentioned this before. I guess you download the app and then you rent the scooter and you drive the scooter where you need to go. And I noticed it says on the scooter you need to wear a helmet, and nobody wears helmets. So I think that's done so that if somebody dies on a scooter and they try to sell the scooter company can say, well, we warned people not to, we warned people that they should wear helmets. We did our due diligence on that. So that's how that works. So if there had never been lawsuits, they probably wouldn't have put the warning on the scooter. And it would just be, up to us to figure out what not to do with a scooter. Seeing somebody jogging right now. Which apparently, everyone tells me that jogging is actually not a good form of exercise. And by everyone, I mean my mother. Because I guess there was a family friend who was jogging and then developed neurological problems. I don't know if it was from the jogging. They think it was apparently from the jogging. Or it could have been from the jogging. But I don't know how much of that was because of the jogging or because, listen, people die. And it doesn't matter whether you exercise or not. That's a horrible thing, actually, that I was thinking about. I was thinking about my grandfather, who, I remember he said this, it's important to exercise. It's important to exercise. And then, the last 4 years of his life, it was really tough. He was in an assisted living. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, yes, it's important to exercise, but it seems like no matter what you do, it's not going to end well. So I always like to have an uplifting thought in my podcasts. It's been a scrotum heavy podcast. I never thought I'd say that, but that's what it has been. But we're getting close to the place. I probably shouldn't do this while running errands. What's the point of doing this? I guess I'm trying to find my voice. I'm trying to find my voice as an artist. Every artist needs a voice. Have you found your voice yet? I have found my voice. Oh, really? And what is your voice? This is my voice. I'm a stand-up comedian who only discusses musical theater from the 1960s. That is my voice. That's my niche. What's the deal with how to succeed in business without really trying? Musicals are a thing I used to do. I did them in middle school and high school, and I think I did one in college. Yes, I did one in college. And I don't know. I was a theater major. I have a great respect for theater. I think theater is very important. And yet I have absolutely no desire to watch it. I only like to do it. I don't like to watch it. No desire to watch it. Musicals are wonderful. Steven Spielberg is going to be directing West Side Story, the movie version of West Side Story. And I think I've talked about this in previous podcasts. West Side Story is my favorite musical. Still, I hope he puts in an alien spaceship of some kind, because it's Spielberg. I'm hoping. It's probably too much to hope for, but I am hoping for it nonetheless. It's hard to sit there and watch a musical. I hate to say it. I'm not, it's nothing against the musical. Maybe I'm the one with the problem. But it's hard to sit there and watch a plot stop for somebody to step out and then sing about how they feel. And I'm sitting there going, in the time it took them to sing how they feel, they could have resolved the conflict. And every song is either I'm happy, I'm sad, or remember how it used to be. I feel like those are every musical song is I'm happy, I'm sad, remember how it used to be. That's it. That's the theme of every song. I'm happy, I'm sad, remember how it used to be? I'm dead, if it's a sad musical, or I'm getting married, if it's a good musical. Oh, and then there's usually, if it's a comedic musical, there's one funny song where this is me being wacky but singing about it. And that's every musical right there that I have illustrated for you. If you've never seen a musical, you don't need to now. I've done it for you. Lights go up. Sad song, happy song, remember how it used to be song, death song, and or getting married song. Possibly a funny song thrown in, if it's, really special. Lights go down. Well, the lights can't go down, the curtain goes down. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Don't correct me. You know what I mean. We've covered too much in this podcast, I think. We've covered too much. We've learned how much it costs for me to pee. I've discussed my opinions about musicals. And I think we've learned and we've grown together. You have witnessed me checking the mail and me podcasting in public versus podcasting in private. And I think from that you have gotten a glimpse into my neuroses about it. It's not. I've learned that it is very, very embarrassing to podcast in public. I did not know that I had that hang up, but now I know that. And that's something else I've got to resolve. I have had people ask me, "Are you in therapy?" And I can't tell when they ask me that. There's one of two possibilities if they ask me if I'm in therapy. Either they care, and they want to see that I'm okay, or they don't want me talking to them about it. And it's almost like, well, I can't help you. I'm not interested. I can't deal with this right now. Perhaps you should go to a professional. And maybe that's the moral of this podcast. Perhaps I should go to a professional. Thank you, and have a lovely day.